Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Fed Friday series. Today, you have one and the only Rita Bailey today. Miss Darlene Jenkins will not be joining us, so we'll be getting started very shortly. Thank you for everyone who's online, who's on Facebook Live, and who's joined us on the webinar. We will be with you shortly. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to be getting started in a second. Again, thank you for joining. I look forward to giving you some information. So stay tuned. All right. I say we get started in about 30 seconds. We're going to be at 10 a.m. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see me pretty well. You won't have to really see me. You'll be looking at the screen. But let's get us going here. Let's get us going here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to this Friday's version of Fed Friday. This is Dr. Rita Bailey Rowland. I will be doing this webinar today solo. So I just wanted to welcome everybody who's on the webinar and who's also on Facebook Live. My partner, I won't say in crime, I'm gonna say my partner in good stuff is not available today. But I will be taking care of you. I'm going to get started so we can get this thing going, and within 15 to 20 minutes, we'll be finished. Of course, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A session. So if you see at the bottom or top, you see Q&A. Please note, because I'm doing this solo today, if I do not get to your questions during the webinar, if you hang on to after we're done, I will make sure I answer all of your questions. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. That's sure what I just did. So we get ready to get going. Okay. Where's Darlene? You see how I'm sharing my screen? Got to go to the next one. All righty. So welcome. We're going to be going over some good benefits today. As a disclaimer, we're just going to be giving you generic information. Please feel free, as you have today, to join us every Friday at 10 a.m. Please like us on Facebook or join our page at ritabrolandevents.com. So Facebook is your AB Solutions, and you can register to go to join the webinars every Friday if you go to ritabrolandevents.com. All right, this is who we are, ABS. We've been helping people. I've been in this industry since 1989. So August the 22nd, I will have 28 years of specializing in helping federal and state government employee. I also do private industry and small business. So pretty much I can help anyone, but I do a lot of work with the government. I'm going to just tell you a little bit. We're going to get going. It's personal for me. My mother died when I was 11 years old. She used to work for the Postal Service. She was 34 when she died, and our lives totally changed prior to her dying simply because the government didn't have a disability program. And so before my mother died, 3 years, we went periods of time where we didn't have a paycheck. And so, of course, not having any money coming in the house, you can imagine what our life was like. But God is always good, so we did survive. But then after her death, it also changed the game because we got a check for 3 children for $377. And in 1977, $377 wasn't a lot of money for 3 children. So I kind of joined this field, and I specialize in helping government employees because I wanted to really make sure that no other kids would be like us. Now we had a great aunt and uncle who took care of us, fed us, clothed us, but had they had more money, maybe things would have been a little different. So hopefully what we'll be sharing with you every Friday, and it's not just for people in the government, we'll have series where it can be open to everyone. Please understand and take your money and your finances serious. I know it's Friday, we think about the weekend, we got good stuff going on in our personal life, but our money is so important. And because we become so, I guess, engrossed in other stuff, we forgot the thing that's going to take care of you is your money. So let's get started. So we're going to go over some stuff today. This is just our basic outline. It'll be a lot more in there. Today I decided to do an overview because that first week is when you guys couldn't hear me. And I'm going to go overview really quick on the CSRS, FERS, and the offset. So CSRS employees, you contribute 7% to your retirement system. You give 1.45 to Medicare. Give 0 to Social Security for a total of 8.45. If you are law enforcement, firefighter, air traffic, so they call them the special provision, you're paying 7.5% into your retirement system. CSRS, FERS, and offset, you both pay 0.8%, and then FERS is prior to 2012. So if you came into the government in 2012 and before, you're paying 0.8% into your system. If you came in 2013, you're paying 3.1%. If you came in 2014 and after, you're paying 4.4%. And you're all putting in 1.45 into your Medicare, and both offset and FERS are paying 6.2 into the Social Security system. So depending on when you came into the government will determine if you're paying 8.45, 10.75, or 12.05. Law enforcement officer, as you can see, you're paying either 1.3 prior to 2012 and before, or 3.6. Everyone can contribute $18,000 to their thrift saving if they're 49 and below. If you're 50 and older, you can have a provision to do a catch-up. And basically what the government is telling us all is that we have not saved enough money, so they're giving us an opportunity to catch up because they can no longer afford to take care of us. So it's very important that we understand that we have to take care of ourselves, and they're giving us an opportunity to catch up. So you can put in $24,000. Now, I'm not saying you have to put all of your $24,000 in this one basket. There may be some other things you can do that's tax-free, but you need to make sure that you're saving. FERS employees are the only employees where their funds are actually matched. So as you can see, and Ms. Jenkins talked about this last week, you get matched dollar for dollar for your first $3. You get matched 50 cents on $4 and $5, and they automatically give you 1% whether you participate or not. So when you put in 5%, you get 5%. So it's important to know that you don't want to leave any free money off the table if you can afford it. So if you have an opportunity, please make sure you're doing a percentage if you can, and not a flat dollar amount unless you are maxing out, and then that rule changes. Now, this is what serves employees. This is what you need to retire. You have to be age 62 with 5 years of service, age 60 with 20, or age 55 and 30. And if you're a SERS employee and you're still working, we all know that you have over 30 years. As of today, the average person will have at least the minimum will have 34 years in their civil service retirement. If you are a special provision employee, you can retire at any age in 25 years and age 50 with 20 years. For FERS employees, you have a three-tier system, as you know. One of the tiers is the FERS retirement system. You can go at age 60 with 20 years of service, age 62 with 5, and MRA and 30, which I'll go over that in a minute because it's important for FERS employee to know your MRA. And MRA stands for your minimum retirement age. Most people do not know that number. So I want to make sure that they know that number. I'm really sorry, you guys. Hold on one second. My phone was on vibrate, and I don't want to make sure I interrupt. It was my husband, so if anybody knows him, have his phone number. Tell him I'm busy. Thank you. So you can retire MRA with 30 years of service. You have an early out, you can do MRA in 10. And of course, if you're special provisions, we talked about air traffic controllers, firefighter, law enforcement. You can go at age 50 with 20 years of service, any age with 25 and no reduction. So wanted to make sure we went over this again because many people missed it the first time. Now, MRA for FERS employee, depending on what year you were born. So you were born prior to 1948, you can retire at age 55. If you were born somewhere between 53 and 64, it's 56. You was born the great year of 1966, it's 56 and 4 months. But anyone born after 1907, it's 57. So it's very important, FERS employees, as you talk to your coworkers. You're not talking to one a person that serves and you comparing your retirement system to theirs. That's a mistake. And then you're not talking to someone who's not born the same time you were, and they're telling you that they can retire at 55, and you were born in 1972. So you think at age 55 you can go, and you got 2 more years. So it's really important to understand your system. I want to do a quick computation. For SERS employees, your base is 56.25%. When you do 30 years, that computation, that 1.5 times 5 years, 1.75 times 5, and 2% for that whole formula turns out to be 56.25. For every year you work, you get an additional 2% past the 30. So if you see this chart on the right side, you max out at 41 years and 11 months, and that's 80%. Having that, sit down, call us, everyone on this phone you commit who's listening, feel free to email us so we can do a one-on-one consultation with you. And it tells you here, if you were to do that at 80,000, your retirement check would be 4,500, which would be $3,750 a month. That is prior to any deductions, health care, all that good stuff. And of course, if you are a special provision, you don't have to work as long and your percentages are higher. So at that same 80,000 with 20 years of service, you're at 60% for a total of 48 a year, 4,000 a month. For FERS employees, the same. You got to do 80, you have to do your years, which is your 30. Your high 3 is the same, but you get 1% for every year that you work, which turns out to be 24,000, $2,000 a month. Now, if you are 62 and older, a FERS employee, 62 and older, and you have at least 20 years of service, you'll get 1.1% for every year that you work, which means that you'll have the same years, the same salary, but because you're 62, you're going to get an additional $200 a month. And many of you probably thinking, what's $200? Well, $200 could pay your Pepco bill, could pay your water bill, could buy you food for the month, pay your car insurance, whatever. It could be a small a staycation where you want to just go somewhere for one night, stay in a hotel. Whatever it is, it's $200 per month for the rest of your life with a COLA if there is one. So if you're very close to 62, you may not want to disrespect that $200, $300, $400 a month. So you have to weigh the odds. Of course, if you're a special provision FERS employee, you're going to have more money just like the civil service. So you get 1.7% up to 5 years. And 1% over. So for that same 25-year period, your check would be $2,600 per month. So we're going to talk about phased retirement today. I got about 5 to 8 minutes. And phased retirement has become really important. We just left a few conference, and I'm probably going to assume when we get to the big conference, it's the same. What I noticed that this year we probably had about between all our classes, about 400 people. Let's just say 400 people. We had about 200 that asked for a request for consultation. Of those 200 people, we had about 7 people that were older than 60, and maybe about 5 to 10 that was between 55 and 60. So it goes to tell you that the government, the age groups is changing. So the civil service employees, they're starting to retire. The boomers are really exiting out of the workforce and the federal government. But what that's causing is they're looking for the expertise is also leaving. So they have something called phase retirement. It just allows employees who have already met their years of service and their age to transition into retirement. So it does two things. It helps the employee who's not quite sure they can handle being retired and having nothing to do all day, but they kind of want to leave. So it allows them to work up to 20 hours a week and receive part of their pension, and then they also will get their part-time salary from their job. The whole purpose of it, as you can see, is to enhance the mentoring and training of employees to prepare the next generation of experts of success. So we got to train the younger people. We got to get them trained. So the whole purpose of this is for the older people to leave their knowledge with the new people. And so they're just allowing them to work part-time as they help transition the new people. Very important to know. It is strictly voluntary, and it must be a mutual between the employee and the agency. So you just can't say, I want to do a phased retirement. It has to be something that's agreed upon. Who is eligible to receive it? Any employee who has been employed on a full-time basis for not less than 3 years preceding the effective date of his or her entry into phased retirement. So if you go into phased retirement January 1, 2018, you must have been working since January 2015. What do you need as a SERS employee? You got to have your 35 years and be age 55 or 20 years and 60. For a FERS employee, you have to have your 30 years in your MRA, and that depends on what year you were born, as we just discussed, and 20 years of service, and then be at least age 60. So if you fit this and your job is offering, or maybe you're interested, talk with your employer, and maybe something they're willing to do is to offer you that phased retirement. So who is not eligible to participate? Basically, when you look at this list, is anybody who is a special provision employee, what it pans out. Law enforcement officers, firefighters, nuclear materials carriers, air traffic controllers, the members of the Capitol Police, members of the Supreme Court Police, most Customs and Border Protection officers, and there's a few exceptions, and employees covered by the Special Work Schedule Authority that does not allow for regularly recurring part-time schedules. So certain things as firefighters that are covered by certain provisions, nurses. So pretty much you're not eligible for phased retirement to work the part-time schedule. How does it work? An employee electing phased retirement continues to work as an employee for the federal government, but under a part-time work schedule. At the same time, the employee receives an annuity benefit equal to a fraction of the annuity that would have been paid had the employee been fully retired. Currently, this means that the employee will receive half of their pay from their federal job working part-time and the other half for their annuity. So let's look at how do you compute this. This is an example. We're going to use the salary of 68 to 25. You would get half of that for a SERS employee would be $34,137. A month it would be $28.44. Now your current annuity, assuming you had, we assume your percentages would be $45,296. You would get half of that, which would be $22,648 for a monthly check of $18.87. And if you look here, that person is making $47.31. If they were full-time retired, it would be less than that. So for a SERS employee, it may make sense for you who you're at that age, you're 60, 61, you kind of feel too young, or you're 58, you kind of want to retire, but you feel like you got something else, and you would love to kind of do this, but not work every day or work full-time. This may be something for you because you can make more money in the phased retirement, and you can be helping the younger generation, imparting your good knowledge. Now, as a FERS employee, it's the same current salary, that doesn't change, but because your annuity is lower than the FERS system, than the civil service, you're at $23,868, and so if for you it'd be $3,800 $838 a month. But you're still in phased retirement. It still may work for you. You have other streams of income. So for you FERS employees, you have to truly plan it. So we can sit down. If you look interested in it, your job is offering, have a conversation with us. And please note that no FERS annuity supplement is payable during phased retirement. So for a FERS employee, you really have to weigh your odds because you won't be entitled to that. And if you need to have more money than less, it may not be the best option for you. So how will phased retirement impact your health care and your life insurance? For health care and FAGLI purposes, you are still considered a full-time employee. So both your health care and your life insurance will remain in force during phased retirement. So you're not concerned about because you're only working part-time. You still will have your health care and you still will have your life insurance. Phased retirement and leave accrual. As an employee in phased retirement status will accrue the annual and sick leave in the same manner as any other part-time employee. All employees in phased retirement status will have at least 20 years of service and therefore will be accruing leave at a rate of 1 hour of annual leave for each 10 hours of pay, 1 hour of sick leave for each 20 hours of pay, and in pay status. So an employee in phased retirement status with a 50% working percentage, you're working only half the time, so that turns out to be 40 hours per pay period as opposed to 80. You will earn 4 hours of annual leave and 2 hours of sick leave. So even still doing phased retirement, you're going to accrue your leave, sick leave, and annual leave, and you still will have your health care and your life insurance. So that's very important for you to understand. So want to participate, contact your manager, your human resources, and just have a conversation to see if that's something that your agency is willing to do. And if that's something on the table and it's something you may be interested in, you may want to check it out, phased retirement. I want you to stay tuned for next week. I'm going to be talking about the different streams of retirement income in Social Security. Social Security, because it's so much, we'll probably do it over 2 Fridays so that we will not rush. For SERS employees, it's important for you to understand that you do not qualify for Social Security from your federal government job. However, you may have worked prior to coming into the government. You may have been working part-time all these years. Now, you also could possibly be entitled to it from a spouse, but more than likely, you will not be. But we will talk about all of that. FERS employees, you are entitled to your full Social Security, but we also will talk about what's best for you in terms of should you take it at 62, should you take it at 66, 67, 65. Remember, it's just like your FERS, your minimum retirement age. Social Security also have a different age based on the year you were born. When is your full? We'll discuss all of this good stuff. And what if you wait to age 70? And how do you fill in the gap? So I want to just say thank you for taking time out this Friday. I am 1 minute away from my 20-minute time limit. So I wanted to say thank you very much for joining me today. Here's our information. Feel free to contact our office. Our phone number is there, 301-577-6340. Or you can also check out our website or email us at info@yourabsolutions.com. From my heart to yours, I say, it's Fed Friday. I know that was probably corny, but it's okay. Have a blessed weekend, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Appreciate you. So if you have any questions, I'm going to answer your questions now. All righty, so people just were saying good morning and all that good stuff, and so I don't see any questions. So I'm going to give you another chance. Let me see, no Q&A, no Q&A. So if you have any questions and you're still on, you can feel free to chat. I mean, in the Q&A, post your question. I will answer them, or if not, I'm going to hold on for a few minutes. I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. We're going to bring you some good information. We're going to be talking a lot next month about maybe your life insurance. We're going to talk about long-term care and doing the open healthcare system. We're going to try to have some people from Blue Cross, Aetna, all of the healthcare, so you guys can get a better understanding of what is what's the difference between Kaiser and Blue Cross and Aetna, all that good stuff. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to farewell. Tell you guys have a great weekend. I'm leaving to go enjoy my family reunion with some people in the country. So I'm looking forward to my family reunion and spending time with family. I hope you have a great week. How can you get copies of the slides? We won't send you copies of the slides, but you tell me what you're interested in, and I can send you some information. I won't send it all out. We've done that, and just it hasn't always been worked out for us. But you tell me what you're interested in, and we will send you some things that we use in the workshop, and we do send out a handout. So you just let me know what you need. You have my email. So I am rlbailey@yourabsolutions.com, or you can email us at info, whichever one works for you. Okay. All righty. Any other questions? I hope you Miss Beasley. Did you hear me answer your question? And your Q&A, put yes, because I'm thinking you can still hear me. Can you let me know if you heard me? Yes, thank you. Perfect. All right. Any other questions? No other questions? Well, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you for hanging in there, and I'll see you next week. It has been a great Fed Friday.